Hey guys, welcome back to another Woodshed Wednesday. Really cool video this week. Request from a Facebook group that I am part of, the Stevie Ray Vaughan gear page. John Brook is an admin, and he's done a great job of sharing the Woodshed Wednesday videos that I've done in the past. And he took a poll with a few songs, and Texas Flood seemed to be the winner. This one I'm going to focus on El Mocambo, some licks that he did in there. I'd like to talk a little bit about El Mocambo if I could. This DVD, in essence, is a staple. You know, I'm a guy who likes to watch concerts, and you know, I learned guitar from picking stuff out just like that, watching it and playing it, and that was extremely helpful to wrap my head around some of the things he was doing. This just basically gives an insight into Stevie Ray Vaughan's power and his ability to lock in with his band members. Double Trouble always had Stevie's back, and they were just, you know, they did all the right things for Stevie while he was playing. But just, you know, just an amazing performance. And also, you know, it's somebody's take on traditional blues, kind of adding their own juice to it and making it this monumental performance. And his power in his right hand, and his precision with his left hand, and his voice, and just, you know, the lifestyle he was living at the time just allowed him to just, you know, be balls to the wall, and it shows in that DVD. It's a staple performance. If you haven't seen it, you know what I mean, please, if you have not watched the full performance, watch the El Mocambo with Stevie Ray Vaughan. And you know, when trying to approach showing some Texas Flood licks, I think they wanted the intro. And you know, a lot of these Woodshed Wednesday videos I try to make it a point to say it's my own interpretation. It's not a note for note thing. It's not trying to, you know, nail tone specifically or get things dead on, because, you know, if there's a guy out there that thinks that he's going to do exactly what Stevie Ray Vaughan did, I hate to be the one to tell you, and I may get some flack for this, but there will never be another. Much like Jimi Hendrix, much like all of our other heroes, you know, that sadly we've lost, there will never be another one. That's what makes them larger than life, and that's what, you know, elevated them to this place that we, you know, we hold them, we put them on a pedestal because of their amazing, you know, performances, their life story, and the things they've done. But getting back to the licks here, you know, I'm gonna break down, or I'm gonna show, you know, I'll walk you through that. But I really want you to, like, you know, the one goal I have is maybe to have you guys kind of learn these things, but put your own spin on them, because I mean, that's what makes it fun, and that's what we're here to do. And if you listen to guys like Stevie, and when he's playing a BB lick, you know what I mean? It's just him hearing one of his heroes and, you know, playing on that. So, I mean, that's what we're all here to do. But I'm going to show, you know, basically a thick part of the intro, sort of midway there, and then a pretty cool kind of thing that I saw from Stevie, and then later on, you know, was educated by Albert King. So Stevie picked it up from Albert King, where he kind of just goes. That really, really cool breakdown. And then some of the faster. So again, I just want you guys to know, and I want to make it a point before, you know, I get chewed up or anybody gives me, you know, the business. It's just my own interpretation. This is not a note for note thing. There's people out there that make their living off, you know, breaking down every bar of the song, and that's fine, you know, but this is just my own interpretation, and maybe put you guys in the area. It may not be the exact route, but you can get the guidelines of it, and then go, oh, well, why don't I just go instead of, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. It's a helpful tool to put you in that zone of where they were playing, but not copy it, not try to, you know, play it exact, because who wants a copy of a copy of a copy? Nobody does. You know what I mean? As far as gear, I was using my 59 Strat. I was using a Super Reverb and a Tube Screamer, kind of just to push the amp a little bit because, yeah, I mean, I can't put the amp on 8. Little tone insight on El Mocambo. What you're seeing there is Stevie using, he has the 410 Super Reverb up on a road case. You can read in these interviews where Stevie would basically say he set the Super Reverb to handle the highs, and you know, the Vibreverbs were there handling the lows. A couple things I want to point out. The amps were mic'd from the back. Obviously, you see the beam blockers or the gaff tape over where the speaker cones were. The amps on stage did have JBL speakers in them by that time. And Cesar Diaz had already had his hands in those amps. So, you know, you can almost bet that the Super Reverb was modified for a little more treble and tighter bass and probably solid state rectifiers by then. Now, looking at the Vibreverbs, he did have 2 on stage, but only one was on, and the other external speaker jack on the back of the other one was just slave to the other speaker. So he's basically using one Vibreverb to push 2 cabs. So there's just a little insight. You know, I know some of this gear talk can get kind of confusing and all that, but since this is for the SRV gear page, I figured I'd get into that. Both Vibreverbs were not on. One was on, and it was pushing the other speaker in the other one, and the Super Reverb was set up to handle the high end or the treble. So when you really blend all of that in, you get that real fat low end from the 15, and you get your big spike from the 410 Super Reverb. Really, I've gotten to be close with a lot of guys who, you know, spent time with Stevie's gear or worked on his stuff or, you know, hunted and spent, you know, more years than I ever have just researching this stuff. And, you know, you can get a lot of secrets and tricks and learn the ins and the outs of what was happening. But that's, you know, in a nutshell, what was happening at El Mocambo. On the floor was more than likely the MXR looper, a Tube Screamer of some sort, maybe a TS9, maybe a TS808, and an old wah wah. I think it was a Crybaby there in that show. I don't know why. I just caught a pick one time, and something's telling me it was a Crybaby. Either way, I mean, there's a little tone insight. We'll get into the licks now, and yeah, check them out. The song is in G. I'm tuned to E flat like Stevie. But the song is in, we'll call it G. And it's just your A string on the 5th fret. So you're gonna go 5th, then your 2nd fret on the D string, 5th fret on the D. But the key to that is how you pick it. A big secret to that intro is picking, it's the up rake. So as soon as you go to hit that A string on the 5th fret, you're up raking. You know, a lot of that, like Testify. Now it looks like my hand is just doing this, but I'm pulling and pushing the pick in when I want to use it. Take something like So Excited, same thing. Pride and Joy is another example. So focus on the right hand as well. That's what a lot of Stevie's tone is in. Killing the strings with your thumb, the meat of your thumb, and just... So we'll keep approaching the lick now. So you have this. Now, I've heard it done, but it's basically sliding the top part of the major chord. But I don't really hear him do that so much, but on the El Mocambo version, I definitely do. that's just, you know, your 4th fret on the G string, and your E and B on the 3rd fret. Then you're laying it over to the G string on the 5th. That's just going, you know, you could hear him similar in so you're just going, and you're going to come up to C, which would be the 4 of G, and you're going to do the same thing. Now, when you get to that stab there, I've seen people play like the T-Bone Walker chord. I've seen people play this, the hideaway chord, we call it, Freddie King. But I've seen Stevie a lot of times just go E and B, and then you're going to grab. So you got E and B on the 15th, and you're going to take the G and the D on the 14th. So after you do the intro, we'll go over it one more time. Now you're going to go into a classic SRV lick that if you're going to be playing Stevie, this is like SRV 101. You do that foundational blues lick that I've been teaching throughout all my, you know, lick lessons or whatever you want to call it. I don't really consider them lick lessons because it's just me showing you how to play little things, but it's that partial bend of the G up on the 5th. It's the partial bend of the G. And then you're going to play the E and the B on the 3rd. So like I said, it's kind of a staple SRV lick, and I've taught this foundational blues lick. If you look back in my lessons I've done, it's one of the first videos on my YouTube page. But basically you want to go, it's this circle pattern, this. Now we're on the high E. I'll show you how to do that. It's bending up on the G on the 5th fret, slight bend, quarter bend, plucking the E and the B on the 3rd fret, and you're going to grab the B on the 6th fret, back to the E on the 3rd, E on the 5th, hammer 3rd to the 4th on the E, back to the B on the 6th, Altogether so far we got. Now we go. Foundational lick into right, and then the rest is on the high E. Bend that 6th fret all the way up. Notice my thumb swinging over there. So here we go with that part. So we're going to bend the 6th fret up, let it resolve. E and the B. So that second part coming out of that goes, after you got back with that foundational lick again, high E up, then you're going to chime the E and the B on the 3rd. I play the root with my thumb, but you can go, but it's just easy to go. Then you're going to walk up to the 5. Foundational lick. Then you're going to grab a half diminished here, which is really weird. And it's, so you're going to get the E on the 6th, and you're going to get the B string on the 5th fret. And let that just kind of get funky, like let that just relax. So another part in that, you know, a cool part of the Texas Flood, or one of the cool breakdown licks he kind of does is, so you're gonna almost approach Albert King land. So taking it from the B string on the 6th fret to the 8th. High E on the 6th. When you pick it right, it's just one motion. Then you're going to strike the G string on the 5th fret. Do like a little half bend. Back to the 1st fret. Grab the tonic. Grab the 3rd fret and the D string. Now walk the A all the way down. Kind of play in Texas Flood over the 5. So when the band goes to the 5, he goes to the D position, which is the 5 of G. And he's kind of doing that B.B. King style, but it's not really right, but it's not wrong either. It's kind of Stevie's way of making it. It's more of a major in a way. So you're going to come up to the 11th fret on the G, and you're going to alternate between the G and the B on the 10. Then you're going to walk the high E from 12, 11, 10. Bend up on the B on the 13th. Now, some of you guys listening might have had a light bulb moment and said, hey, that's a B.B. King lick. That's exactly right. This is where these guys, you know, they become our heroes. They were just taking stuff from their heroes, you know what I mean? And this is a classic example of it. So here we go, coming up on that first part again. Now it's a lot to explain, but I'm dealing with the same notes, just repetitive, and I'm hoping you guys can see clearly what's going on because I'm trying to stay zoomed in the right spot, but... So that's basically the same lick, just a few notes are alternated just in a different position. So that lick was in D, that's in C. That's just an alternating lick between the 9 and the 10 on the high E. And then you go right back to the same lick you just played here. Now you're in Albert King land. So you're going to slide that B down to the 6. And now you're going to play that last lick I just taught. The one thing I want to stress, like I said, these aren't note for note. I wouldn't necessarily want to hear anybody else do it note for note because I don't think that any kind of character is put on it when you're just copying somebody. But it's great to get some inspiration from what those guys were doing, and it's great to put your own funk on it in the realm of what's happening there. And that's what I want to teach. I'm not trying to teach Stevie Ray Vaughan note for note because, believe me, nobody else will ever be able to do it. But to get somebody somewhere in the ballpark of what's going on, for them to tinker around and for them to pick apart that stuff, that's what's great. And that lick right there is just him going to, you know, his 5 position, then he's going to his B.B. King land, then his Albert King. So So I hope you guys enjoyed those licks. I hope you guys can use some of that stuff. Where I was playing that faster lick there, it is kind of confusing, but in a way it's actually not. If you just slow down and, you know, you can almost sound, you can hear where you want to go, and let your muscle memory and let your brain put you where you want to be. You know, don't rely on what somebody else does, because the way I play it may not be the way you play it either. This was just a helpful set of licks to get you in that area where he was playing during that performance. The secret, or the SRV tone thing is, those amps, for the most part, the mods that were going on with them, it's really just a more efficient speaker, or a higher wattage speaker. And, hopefully down the road we can dispel the myth that it has to be this tube, or it has to be this, and it has to be this way, and that. I mean, for the most part, those combo amps on stage were they weren't souped up, they weren't Dumble amps, it was just Fender amps and a guy who had his tone right in his hands. You know what I mean? It came from his hands, and that's why there can never be another one. I just think that it's great to get close, and what I did was I tried for the longest time to get close to that tone, and then I finally found something that was close, but maybe changed up a tube configuration or changed up a speaker and kind of made it my own in a way. And it would sound like, it would kind of get that Texas style tone, but in a way it was also my own. Much like my playing too. I mean, I'm always trying to get better because, face it, I need it. But I kind of took a step back from wanting to nail that stuff note for note. And as soon as I did that, a lot more of it made sense, and a lot more of it came to me easier because I wasn't trying to go for it, So these are just some helpful hints. Again, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I appreciate the fact that, he's been gone such a long time, but it shows that his prowess, his power, his strength, his message, and his will stand the test of time. And it's, for the guys that are the couple hundred people that are going to watch this video, it put us all in the same, space in a way. So, I mean, God bless Stevie Ray Vaughan. Thank you, Stevie. And thanks everybody for watching this video. I want to thank John Brook. I want to thank the other admins of the Stevie Ray Vaughan Gear page on Facebook. Thank you so much for all the recent subscribers. Thank you for the positive feedback. I really appreciate these Woodshed Wednesdays. I hope I can do more. Maybe I can do more for the SRV Gear page. We'll talk soon, guys, and check for more videos coming soon. Peace!